Namaste, everyone. I'm back. I am back from the Divine Feminine Retreat that I led in France. I actually took 17 days for myself. That mid part, 8 days was working, but the days prior to that and the days following that, I actually did a little solo traveling in Iceland and in Switzerland. So in the next upcoming weeks, I'm going to be giving you some inspiration from these journeys, and they'll be implemented as part of our yoga practice. So, what I want to mention today is the fact that, if you've ever been to Europe and gone out to eat, it is a different dining experience than what we have here in the US. So for instance, here in the US, we're always tending to rush through things um, unless we make reservations and celebrating something special. We typically go out to eat, we have our food, and then we get the check right away. We want a certain type of service. We want it to be quick. We want it to be efficient. And then we move on with our day. But in Europe, it's completely different. You go and it's an experience. You sit and you wait, and they're not catering to you as much. And it's actually kind of rude, typically, if you tend to ask for your check. So we did the whole dining experience daily while we were in France, and we didn't rush it. And we took our time having our meals together. But really, our intention for going was to feed people inspiration and the truth of how the divine feminine had a big presence in early Christianity. And it wasn't until, uh, later that the divine feminine started getting pushed down and shoved into the background. So, anyway, this intention for today's practice is to feed your mind, your body, and your spirit. Now, because I'm tired and I've been traveling a lot, I thought I would mix in the Magic Four. The Magic Four is a great thing to do for your back. It's a great way to unravel any tension that you've been housing in your body. And we're going to do some movement and breath work in the chair before we settle down for the Magic Four. So let's get started. So we're going to begin sitting in the chair with the feet flat on the floor. Excuse me. Come here. Up here. Up here. Up. Stay. Stay. All right. With your knees aligned over your ankle. Go back. Go. Stay. Sorry, my dog is very, very needy because I've been gone for so long. This one could care less. Stay. Sit. Stay. And with your feet firmly planted on the floor, your hands resting on your lap, close your eyes. Begin some deep diaphragmatic breaths. Noticing the ballooning effect that you're experiencing with that expansion as you inhale. Feeling that all relax, sinking back into your center as you breathe out. These deep diaphragmatic breaths are a great way to connect the mind and body when they start to separate. Last night when I was coming into Nashville, there were storms. We had to sit and wait for a while before we left out of Philadelphia. And then we had to circle in the skies for a while. And when we finally landed, we sat on the taxiway for almost 2 hours waiting for a gate. The planes weren't pushing back from the gate, therefore we couldn't be drawn into the gates. in order to plane. And I have a history being a flight attendant, so I don't mind planes, especially the larger ones. But we came home on a tiny regional jet with a singular seat on one side and two seats on the other. And those smaller jets can be quite claustrophobic. We were sitting on the taxiway, the plane filled up with heat. People got restless and started to stand up, and it became more and more cramped. And so, one thing I had to do was close my eyes and do this deep breath work in order to maintain a sense of calm so I wouldn't go into a panic. And it lessened the irritations that I was experiencing mentally. So I want you to feed yourself this medicinal treatment of the breath. And open up your eyes and join your hands together to prayer. Link your fingers up together and then push your palms up, up, and away. Stay grounded in your seat and extend your side body and up through the heel of your hands. And continue this mindful breath work. This is one of the poses that I could do when I was sitting on the airplane. And I was also able to do this one where you bring one hand down and curve to one side. So just consider this is the side where I was freed up and I was able to do it quite well, leaning towards the aisleway or the center of the seats. Inhale, come up, and exhale, bring that hand down. Now the second side was a little tougher because I had, windows here, but I was able to lift the other hand and still create a side stretch. I may not have had this top arm as long or as actively reaching, but it was so helpful. So please know there are some poses that you can do even on an airplane. From the seated Chandrasana, inhale, come back up, exhale, bring that arm down, and then lace up your arms behind your back and notice which arm you have below. Notice how the shoulders drop down and back. It gives you an opening across your chest. And feel the stretch even coming up through your sides of your neck. And then if you want to pour your head down to one shoulder. This is another one I was capable of doing on the airplane. This is also one I was doing a lot on the trains. Inhale, bring the head up. Exhale, take it to the other side. Inhale, tilt the head to center. Open your throat and look up. And then exhale, drop the chin down and look down. Continue that. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale, chin to chest. Inhale, chin parallel to the floor. Exhale, turn and look over to one side. Inhale, revolve the head to center, and exhale, gaze across the other. Continue this. Inhale, center. Exhale, look to one side. Inhale, center, and exhale, look to the other. And one more. Flow with breath. Bring your head to center. This is another one I would do in the sequence when I was on my trip. I would lace the arms up for Garudaasana arms. Upper arms parallel to the lap. I would hold this for a little bit. And then eventually I would sink the elbows down towards the belly. Breathing for a little bit here. And then inhale, relifting the arms. And then exhale, I would take the arms and thread them the other way behind the back. And start the process all over. Holding here. Breathing well. Exhale, lean the head to one shoulder. Inhale, head returns. Exhale, lean to the other. Inhale, head to center, and then look up. Exhale, look down. Continue. Inhale, head back. Exhale, head drops. One more. Inhale, chin parallel to the floor. Exhale, look to one shoulder. Inhale to center. Exhale, gaze to the other. And continue. Back to center. Releasing the arms. Hooking the arms the other way than before for eagle arms. Elbow squeeze. Hands tightly woven. And then dropping the elbows deeper down. Inhale, arms lift back up. And exhale, release. All right, we're going to step the feet nice and wide. Hands come down to the knees. Toes point away. Your hands can even open the legs more. And then hands to namaste at the heart. Wrists are flexed, elbows out to the sides, thumbs pushing into the top of the sternum. And breathe. And then let's relax the hands down. I'm going to show you another one I was doing waiting for the trains. So you're going to turn to one side and bend one knee and let the other toes kind of slide back, the heels off the floor. You can have hands resting on your hips. You can have your hands resting with prayer hands, or you can even send the arms up. Now I had my hands on my luggage. That's what I was doing. I was holding the roller bag and then I would just step back. But this was so needed. And then we'll take it to the other. So you can either step forward and step back, or you can just spin and face the other direction. Lunging into the right knee with your hands either on your hips to prayer hands, or you can imagine you're holding that roller bag in front, or you can even fly the arms up overhead. So you can tell how this was great for not only bringing some attention to the spine, but some work into the hips after those long periods of sitting to open up some circulation in the lower body. All right, now another one that I just had to do on occasion, we were standing around, was Uttanasana. So let's have the feet lined up side by side. Let's pour down, hinging from the hips. Let the head go. This was not only good for stretching out the hamstrings, but also bringing some blood flow to the brain, right? Because traveling can make us tired. If there's a lot of delays, we can often become impatient. So just kind of flipping ourselves upside down can be helpful. Flipping our attitudes around. Because as we know, when we travel, it's not in our control. There's no point in getting upset. And then if you happen to be standing in front of your chair and you can just bend the knees and sit on the chair, then you're folding over your lap, letting your head dangle freely, arms releasing down freely for the seated form of child's pose. This is actually a brace position as well. If you're ever on mass transportation, if you're being told to brace for impact, this is one of the bracing positions. And take your hands up to your knees and press them down and slowly come up. We're going to do a twist here. Take a deep in breath in, and as you exhale, twist to the right. So just take your left hand over to the outside of that right knee, and that right hand can come behind your back if there's room on the seat behind your tailbone, or you can even hold the back of the chair. Only take the twist as far as your spine wants to go today. That doesn't block or make you refrain from breathing. Exhale, unwind. Let your palms rest open and just pause a moment. Now let's twist to the other side. So right hand over to the left knee, left hand behind the back, resting on the seat or grabbing the back side of the chair. Exhale, unwind from the twist. We're going to take the hands up and tie them behind the back of the head. We're going to lean the heart forward and the head back into the hands. And we're just going to breathe into this type of a back bend. This is another one I was doing at the train stops. Something simple. Something to open up the chest and to help with posture. Because as you know, when you start to travel and when you're tired, you tend to slump more. 2 more breaths. Release. All right, we're ready for that magic 4. We're going to come on down. Get stacked on our backs. Float the calves up. Now, ideally, you want your thighs and knees, shins and feet to stay parallel instead of fanning out or rolling in. You could even have a sandbag resting on top of your shins to keep them held here. Or you can tie a strap around your legs to keep them in place. If your bones and your habitual patterns just naturally make you go out or in, there is a way that you can use some manipulation with props to provide it. Your hands can be on or off the body. Close your eyes. Rest and breathe. Slide the left foot towards us. Stop anywhere along that path or take your foot to hook in front of the edge of the seat of the chair. You want that knee coming straight in towards the chest line. You are using a strap. You would basically take the strap now over the left shin, make a loop behind your back to keep it held in this position. Loosening or tightening the belt. So that you can feel held, safe, and secure. can minimize or maximize that stretch at any point by pulling the foot closer or sending it more away. But you want the back to fully relax. Carry that left leg back over. Be here a moment. Feel the difference between the two sides. And now pull the right foot closer. You can stop anywhere along the way. Just make sure the knee doesn't flop in or out. We move from left to right in the sequence. We typically do when we're doing more relaxed sequencing with yin or restorative, or even the Swarupa yoga. Do some deep inner listening. Pay attention to what your body needs, wants, desires. Check in with the sensation. Is it too much or too little or just right? It's okay to add in less or more, depending on what you're experiencing in the now. Place the right calf back. Reset, integrate. Left ankle crosses right knee. Notice how the weight kind of tips to the left side of the sacrum. That heaviness on that side is going to be more natural with this positioning. You're not doing anything wrong. Just let it be. Notice this variation. We're not trying to tug or squeeze in. Want your belly relaxed and soft. You want your buttocks relaxed and soft. Reposition the left calf. Reset. First pose. Now right ankle hooks over the left knee. Now notice how the weight tends to drop more into the right side of the sacrum. Don't have to fix anything, just let it be. right, let's reset that right leg. This is the first pose that we reset with. We've done the second, which was drawing the heel closer, and the third, ankle over the knees. Now the fourth, the magic four, is the twist. If your hands are resting on your abdomen, the palms are going to open up beside you with your arms slightly fanned away. And your knees are just going to come away from the chair. The feet are going to stack on top of each other as you teeter them over towards your left hand. And then your head is simply going to turn to the left shoulder. Knees are usually not as tucked into the chest before the twist as we do when we're freestyling. It's much simpler, much less of a twist than our typical supine variations. These poses are meant to be more subtle, not as grand or as advanced. So keep it simple. Head is going to turn back. Your knees are going to lift back to the chair. Reset. And notice it's a very similar feel to Instant Maui, or excuse me, Stonehenge, but this one is called Instant Maui. Stonehenge is where we use the two blocks to be holding the bolster so we can set the legs up this way. All right, here we go. Simple supine twist. So your knees are going to lower back down to the floor, but to the right side this time. And your head is going to turn to the right shoulder. If you need to make this more restorative, you can place a blanket, block, or bolster in between your legs. Head turns back, knees lift back, resets. Hands can return to the abdomen here. Now let's draw both heels towards us, stopping anywhere along the way. So your knees are starting to tuck into your chest, but you don't even have to use your arms or hands to pull them towards you. And just feel the length in your low back and continue to relax the back. Let's roll over to one side of the body. Rest there for a moment. We've been on our back for a good while. Let your mind and body start to acclimate here. You can begin to flutter the eyes open, reveal the space that you're in. Push down through the top hand to come up. Close out this class. Sitting up with our hands together to prayer and our head humbly bowed. Gratitude to this practice that helps our mind and body and spirits. Grateful for the sense of unity that we experience as a result. I'm grateful to remember the power of the breath, the patience it can provide, and the presence that we all need. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Please remember, those of you that join me online, that the live stream from my house that I've typically been doing on Tuesdays at 11, it's not going away, but the live stream is going away. I'm going to have to switch my schedule around, and I am now going to be recording the gentle restorative from home and then sending you the recording. Months later, they will be put on the YouTube Moonbeam Yoga page. If you ever need to review a class or want to go back to review a class, it'll be up on that platform. So thank you. Namaste.